Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm making dinner. Pony, basil, olives from like a week and a half or maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't remember, whenever you made pizza for your friends and you didn't use all the olives. Olives. Chili oil. Does it have to be this brand? Yes, it has to be. You see that? Lyoko. It has to be. There's no substitutes. If you make this with another brand of chili oil, it'll be horrible. It will taste like shit. Lyoko. Blue cheese, especially good if you get it on sale. I don't like blue cheese. Grow up. Yeah, how about that? How about grow up? This is the one thing you can substitute, some kind of acid, whatever acid you like. So lemon, lime. I'm going to use red wine vinegar because it tastes good and I like it. So yeah. If you live in Atlanta, actually I think that they sell this like all around, but I know they're local to Georgia. They're called Banner Butter. This is free promo. One thing, it's cultured butter, so it's just better than you. Apparently they took inspiration from how Europeans, specifically the French, make butter, and they brought that to Georgia. So yeah, look at that. Look at that butter. You see that? This is the garlic, the roasted garlic, basil, and parsley flavor. I would have used like a plain butter, but I used all of it to make brownies yesterday, so fancy butter. All right, I'm just gonna like mindlessly chop away because I don't feel like getting out my food processor. I was having a conversation with my coworker today about our inner children, and I was thinking about it, and I feel like most people do this in their 20s, and it's why your 20s are such a painful time, and it's the time to revisit things from your childhood, whether that be for positive or for negative. So, you know, for a lot of people, it's clearing up traumas, it's clearing up, you know, maybe some repressed memories that they forgot about and have since resurfaced, and they want to address those things. For me, I was talking about just like the sense of wonder that I've gotten, like childlike wonder. Like I unboxed this old camera today, and it felt like Christmas. I was giddy, giggling like a little boy, unboxing it, and it was just such a nice moment. Rule number 47 of cooking: get a bench scraper. Because oh my gosh, all these olives, what do I do? One sweep. Okay, I suck at cooking. One sweep. Wow, look at that. It's done just like that. It's time for an audible capers. Yeah. All right, so we're back. Olives done. Basil. Okay, let me get back to my train of thought. So, yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't do enough work to go back and like really revisit those. That's a lot of basil. The good moments of their childhood. Now, we look back on those things as a moment of nostalgia, and we're like, oh man, like times were so good. Remember when we used to do that? And it's like, well, why don't you do it anymore? Of course, this doesn't apply to everything, right? Like you can't go back to grade school, you can't go back to playing youth sports, but you can play in a rec league, which I did. I shot a lot of air balls. But it was fun, you know, it was a lot of fun, and I felt like, it felt like being a kid again, especially playing with some of the people that I played with in high school and whatnot. And yeah, just getting back to that wonder. Like I bought a Dreamcast because I love Sonic Adventure, and I never got to play Shenmue as a kid, and I remember hearing about my dad playing it, but I'm pretty sure my mom made him get rid of it because he played it too much. Dad is based for that. Which, by the way, if you're wondering what I'm doing right now, I'm basically creating like a little parcel of basil because I'm going to do a little chiffonade, which is just like thin strips. And in order to do that, you're just going to place everything together, and then you'll roll it up and you give it a slice. So, bam, lost the leaf. Bam, here's our little parcel thing. All you're gonna do, give it a little roll. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be gentler with this, but I usually give it a pretty tight roll. Knife trick. When you are cutting, when people say to go against your finger, thumb in the back. Do not keep it here. You will slice your thumb off. Thumb in the back. You're going to have your knife up against your knuckle. And so when they say to use your finger to guide, what they mean is as you're slicing, you're pulling your finger back. So that even if you have your finger down, this bottom of the knife is not going to cross over your finger. So you are slicing. And so let's get our basil roll back. Thumb in the back of the basil. I'm going to press my finger up and we're going to slice. And we're going to come back with the finger as we're slicing. Ta-da! If you wanted just like a chiffonade, if you just wanted these like strips, you would leave it here. But for me, I want smaller pieces of basil, so I'm going to come back and I am going to give it a little horizontal chop. I'm not an expert with knives, but that's what I've learned thus far. It makes me a faster cutter, so I don't know. I don't think I want to cook the olives too much, so I'm gonna go basil in with the olives, and we're just gonna throw that into the pasta at the last minute. Water is in fact boiling, and we got the Tonys in. I put too many in, but you know what? It's pasta night, you know. We'll just have more pasta. So I'm gonna go in with the capers with the like raw mix that I have going on. With the red wine vinegar that I mentioned before, or whatever acid that you're using. If you're using things that are real briny, like olives, capers, whatever, you're already going to get some tang from that. So don't go too crazy with your acid to begin with. For me, the acid is just going to be a finishing thing at the end, where I just kind of adjust and say, you know, this could use a little more twang to it, you know, a little more acid. So, yeah, we got capers, basils, olives, in the bowl. Okay, I shouldn't copy that guy, but he's really funny. This also could be totally wrong, but for me, I just go straight in with my chili crisp, even while the water is going. Because I can, and I won't forget about it later. I think it's the biggest thing for me is I won't forget. Wow, look at that, red water. I recognize that this video is probably going to be all over the place, so we'll just call it ADHD friendly, you know? I feel like most people that are neurodivergent, especially if it's from the same ailment, so to speak. So 2 people that have ADHD, 2 people that have autism spectrum disorder, whatever, kind of get each other's languages and their quirks and how they go about language. So hopefully you're following along. Anyways, ooh, cheese is smelly. Smells good though, if you're an adult. Children beware. I don't know why I said that. Salt your water viciously, like the ocean, they say. They actually say not to really salt it like the ocean. I think it's just the saying. Because if you're using, you know, a saltier cheese, like a lot of times when you're making pasta, you're adding pecorino, you're adding parmigiano, whatever the fuck, whatever. Parmigiano Reggiano. And that already has salt content in it, right? And so if you're using pasta water, you don't want it to be too salty. Of course, you want it to add some body with your starches, and you want it to add some more salt. But if you go in too hard, then once you add your Parmesan, it's too salty. Congrats, you made a very salty pasta, and now you're gonna have blood clots or something. What was I talking about? What was I talking about? Yeah, the wonders of childhood. It's kind of weird, you know, I feel like I was bred to be, or maybe conditioned is the word, not bred. I feel like I was conditioned to be a jock. When it's really funny, because I'm like the clumsiest dude you'll ever meet. So I had to force myself to be an athlete. Anyone who played sports with me can tell you. I was not good. But I hit a growth spurt pretty early. I was bigger than a lot of other kids. And like I played bigger than my size. I don't know if that makes sense for those that haven't played sports, but just like I would be up against dudes that were bigger than me and still was like holding my own physically. So yeah, I just had the body. And growing up as like one of the only Asians in my hometown, it's wild to think that I had to use my body to fit in, right? It's like, you're a little weird and quirky, and not in a good way, yet. I don't know that I still am, but yeah, you're not weird in a good way yet. It's not fun yet. And so outside of, the kids that I had in my neighborhood and, my close peers, in order to fit in, I had to play sports. And I enjoyed sports. That's not to say that I was forced to, but that was my ticket in. And my friend brought up a point that it might be one of those intersections that both people of color and women have, where it's like, if there's one way, it's your body. And I guess as a man, I never thought to think that. And I still don't know how much validity there is to that thought, but it's interesting to me to think that there might be a parallel there. And it's really sad. Anyways, the whole point that I'm getting with that is I was talking to my coworker how even though like my way in was through my body, right? Because I'm taller, I'm, physically capable of playing sports, and so I did. I hope that this water isn't too loud. I guess I'll find out. This thing is tiny. I'm gonna, hold on. This is what I'm recording on. Hello, hand. It is so small. It's like a child's toy, truly. But I love it. I'm so glad that I have it. I have a friend, his name is Logan, and he kind of unlocked the nerdiness in me. I was always supposed to be a fucking dork. Like, I always was supposed to be. And I don't think that I really showed that outwardly outside of with my family and like my really, really close friends. Because it was not shunned or shamed. It just wasn't rewarded is the word, I think. It wasn't rewarded to be weird. And the signs were there of the things that were socially acceptable. I like dug into that shit. I was digging in it, king. Why did I say that? Anyways. For example, boys equal violence equal fighting game. So I played Mortal Kombat, as I did. Sub-Zero mains, stand up, also smoke. I think that I played just as much, if not more, had more time in the game getting into the crypt, which was basically like lore central. It was like, hey, here is the total backstory and multiple alternate timelines for this one character. And I would read that through for like the whole 30 character roster, right? And it's like other like normie ass boys were not doing that. They were learning fatalities and like pulling people's intestines out and shit. So I didn't really take those signs. I was just a little kid so desperate to fit in and be liked, right? So I didn't think about that. And then I met Logan, and we played video games, of course, at my house, but I didn't realize like true gamer culture until I went to his house, because I go over and his dad is in the living room playing World of Warcraft on his laptop, and it's like, holy shit, okay, parents play video games on their own, like without their children? Okay, interesting. We go downstairs, and his basement, the man cave, right, is not lined with sports pennants and with posters, like our trophies, like my brother and I, our sports trophies and stuff. It wasn't. It was a pyramid of Mountain Dew cans. It was Lego sets all around the like upper border of the garage, like a shelf, I guess, of sorts. I say garage. It's like basement, I guess is the word. Anyways. True gamer cave, and that shit was amazing. Oh my god, it was like magic whenever I went to his house. It was just such a world that I feel like I hadn't like really explored. of like a family where like media brings them together and games and their favorite IPs and stuff like that. And it's like, what is happening? This is so cool. And I didn't take that lesson. So I move on to high school and bam, right back into I need to fit in. And so I am throwing butter into this pasta. This feels like a lot, but you know, you live once. So butter in the pot. Oh my god, that's good. Sorry, not me licking my fingers on camera. Pause. Resume, fast forward, skip to end. I usually skip this part. Yeah, I didn't take that lesson. So I go to high school and it's like, oh, I make the basketball team. Yay. And then I try to fit in with the jocks and the popular kids. Popular is such a stupid thing. Anyways, with like the popular kids and whatever, and I get a girlfriend and I do all the things. I like check off everything that I feel like high schoolers are supposed to do. And I abandoned the kid in me, the middle schooler who stayed inside and would refuse to go to parties and shit and would stay at home and read books. I abandoned him. And I feel like in my college years, and like from 18, 19 to now, it was me learning how to come back to that, like the real me, you know what I mean? I feel like the people that we are as children are the real us. It's pure, it's untouched, until we get conditioned. We experience trauma. We have, conditioned is the word, right? We find rewards. We act a certain way because it gets us money, or it gets people to like us. It gets the girlfriend or the boyfriend or what have you, the partner. And so yeah, why not abandon that child? I'm going to show you what the pasta looks like now, and we'll come back to this. I hope that you can see, we still have some water in the pan. Now we go in with cheese. So I'm gonna go in with the blue cheese. We're gonna adjust for consistency, and we're gonna cook down until you get, you know, a glazy, almost Alfredo-like sauce. Oh boy, this smells so good. Holy moly. Wow. So yeah, I abandoned that little boy, that poor little boy. He was so cool. I think that's part of what, you know, with our prefrontal cortex finally forming in your mid-20s. I feel like it's your brain going, hey, fuck all of that conditioning, all of that trauma that has moved you to be, you know, this certain way that you were never meant to be. I'm learning that I was always cool. And I'm not cool now. Like, yes, have I grown as a person? Yes. But I'm not cool now just because I've changed from who I was as a teenager. Part of the reason I'm cool is because I'm going back to what worked, to what was always going to work for me. All right, guys, so we're back. I just put in as much blue cheese as I wanted for it to taste good. Heat is on low because I'm not trying to torch this. Now we're gonna go in with our cold stuff, our olives, our basil, capers, etc. Here, once you add your cold, you're gonna go off heat. So my heat is turned off, but you know, if your eye was on and still hot, you would come off heat, because you don't want to bring too much heat to your acid, because at least in my experience, it feels like it kind of neutralizes it. I just now noticed that my cat's been meowing the whole time. Hey, what's your dealio, Belio? You definitely can't be seen on this camera right now. You're a void. Anyways, yeah, off heat, you're gonna stir up, and then everything's to taste at this point. So for me, I'm gonna go in with salt, pepper, and vinegar to kind of balance whatever flavors we got going on. All right, so I'm not gonna eat on cam because that's weird and gross, but I'm gonna hold it here to give myself pressure to finish what I was saying so that I can eat this sooner and it doesn't go cold. Anyways, there's one thing that I want you guys to take away from this video. I think it's that you should revisit some of the positive things. Go back and look at, you know, what was working for me, what made me happy, what was fun to me, what did I feel like was integral to my identity, and try to see if those things fit in a context to you today as an adult. So for me, I still don't know exactly who I was as a kid because memory doesn't serve me well. But I do remember some of the things that I enjoyed, and so I'm going back and I'm replaying Sonic Adventure. I'm going back and playing Wii Sports because I can on my childhood Wii. You know, I'm playing in rec basketball leagues, even though I'm not too great anymore. I'm going to get a skateboard Saturday because I stopped skating, and I viewed it as if it was a thing of the past. Like that can never be me again. And no, that's so lame. Like, why can't it be me? I'm not exceptionally injury prone. I'm still young. Like, I still have plenty of time. It's not like there was anything barring me from doing these things, from wearing wacky clothes and getting a fun, like, 80s type haircut that I would have been scared to get in high school because I didn't want people to judge me. There's nothing really barring me from that besides myself and my own anxieties. And if you have clinical anxiety, that's obviously a completely different thing. But as it is, just your own inhibitions, your own inner voice telling you those things that you can't do, man, fuck that voice, you know? Life is just way too short for us to limit ourselves in that way, and it just feels unfair to yourself, and it feels like the kind of thing that you're gonna go, you know, you're gonna look back in older age and be like, God, why didn't I pick up a skateboard again? Why didn't I go play that sport again, or watch that show, or wear those clothes, or go to that con, or try that hobby, all of those things. So do the things that you wanna do. That's, I know I'm not a genius for saying that, but sometimes it feels like the things that we're allowing to make us miserable have really simple answers. And I feel like that's one of the simpler answers that I've landed on recently, and it's helped me a lot. I feel like I'm a lot happier than I was, you know, in my earlier 20s, you know, my 20, 21, 22 years, trying to figure out who I am, you know? So yeah, I'm gonna eat this pasta. If you cooked it with me, send me a picture. You probably didn't, because half of you probably don't like blue cheese, and you suck for that. So yeah, take care. Thank you so much for watching, and go watch Code Lyoko. Oh yeah, look at that shit. Look at that shit. That's what you call primo, baby. That's what you call yum yum, tastes good in my tongue. Out of 10.